Hope your eyes are planted firmly in your skull, because today we're talking more about the Somnium Files. Launching in the latter half of 2019, quickly became my game of the year. And this was the same year that Fire Emblem Three Houses launched, which is another game that's close to my heart. If you haven't yet seen my Explained series on the ARG Lemniscate that took place over the course of the year, prior to I's release, then give this playlist a watch. This series is going to assume that you're in the know about the events that happened over there, and later episodes are going to be directly calling back to it. All set? Alright, let's sink on in. We start on a rainy night, as most good stories do, and already we can see we're calling back to the ARG as we circle around the carousel in the abandoned amusement park. That both stood as our first look at the game back during the reveal, and also as where Iris told us about the existence of night slots. Here, we're introduced to our playable character, Special Agent Kaname Date, and quickly learn that he's not alone in this case. He's partnered with an AI unit that's been connected to his brain via his fake eye, codenamed Eyeball, or Iba. Date arrives at Bloom Park, the scene of a grisly murder of a woman named Shoko Nadami. Date is out of his element, as he's usually tasked with syncing with persons of interest, or otherwise known as investigating their subconscious, instead of on the field investigations like normal detectives. Although, he is here on the request of a superior, colloquially known as boss, because of his relation to the victim. Date was an old friend of Shoko Nadami, and also that of her ex-husband, Renju Okiura. For those of you that think that name is familiar, you'd be correct. Renju Okiura is the president of Lemniscate, the talent agency that hosts Iris among other talent, and is also the owner of the cold storage warehouse where things happen. While investigating, Date comes to the conclusion that Shoko was stabbed several times by using a weapon similar to an ice pick due to the shape of the entry wounds, and that her left eye was removed while she was still alive, and the killer or killers had taken it with them. All of this he can ascertain from afar by using Iba's ability to magnify his viewing angle. Boss mentions that it's highly likely that it's a copycat killing to a case from 6 years prior, that of the Cyclops Serial Killer. Here, he also comes into contact with another officer named... what was his name again?
Wow, I never thought a great detective like you would ask me my name. It's Kagami, sir. It's Kagami, sir. Kagami. Are you serious? It's Kagami!
Hey, what'd you say your name was? Hey, hello? I know you can hear me, Kagami.
So you do know my name.
Kokichi here says that it's best Date stay away from the direct scene until the rain stops, so footprints can be properly analyzed. But that plan goes to the wind once a sound erupts from the column on the carousel.
Date, use me to see through the column. Utilize the X-ray mode.
Oh no.
It appears as though someone is inside.
Hey, I know you're in there. If you can hear me, say something. It won't budge.
It may be locked from the inside.
Damn it. Hey, whoever's in there, stay back. Suki.
Date ensures Mizuki's safety and takes her to the central hospital in the Minato district. Here, while looking after her recovery, Date falls asleep. He dreams of a strange house he thinks he doesn't recognize, looking from an out-of-body perspective of a strange humanoid figure. He learns quickly that he is dreaming, and the humanoid figure is Aiba, changing her appearance to a more fitting form, with which to interact with Date's Somnium. While interacting, a strange man flashed for but a moment, prompting questions from Aiba. Date doesn't recognize the man, which further confuses them both, as Somniums are constructed from the owner's memories and subconscious. Aiba figures she must lighten up the room to interact with more elements, so the two work together to walk through the mental maze dubbed Sinkin' in the Brain. Quick note, when the tutorial for the mental lock plays, we get the Zero escape room sound effect.
Short. Somnium is a world built from the deepest recesses of your consciousness.
Another note for the Somnium is there are a handful of optional items to find that have different amounts of associations. Inside the baskets are a UFO, Chupacabra, and an American $1 bill. The UFO relates back to the topic of aliens and extraterrestrial life that the ARG brought up. The Chupacabra relates back to the idea of cryptids and folklore, and the $1 bills get the Eye of Providence on the back, relating back to Knights Lots. And finally, the skeleton here has a bloody left eye.
Who is he?
Are you sure you don't know?
I don't know. He looks like some old man.
You could describe him a little more generously. Why is there a gun in this house?
This house has a skeleton in it. Anything can happen.
I hear it's common in the Kyushu area. In fact, it is said that they place hand grenades in the egg cartons in their refrigerators.
Who did you hear that from?
Look at this hot magnum. I could ventilate some crooks with this thing.
Don't get excited.
Remind you of anyone?
No.
A door locked. Do you think something this size would fit?
Might fit if you work it in a little. Try just the tip.
I suppose. I see. The gun was the key.
Well. Seems I was key in helping us escape.
Okay, that's it. This dream is over.
I suppose this dream is over then. Guess I'll wake up now.
Good. I'll open it.
On the next morning, Date visits Abyss headquarters, the same location B-Set visited in one of her videos. We learn it's actually Boss's office, 6 layers below ground. Date chooses to ask Boss once more about the details on the case from 6 years ago, revealing to us that he actually has no memory of the time before that point. Boss urges him to drop the subject, confirming it has no relation to the current case. He pushes back, saying it's possible that the original killer could be at it again, to which she says is an impossibility. Date, sure he's not going to get any information going further down this line of questioning, changes the subject to a pair of skis Boss has lying around in her office. Boss asks him if he's heard about the murder case that happened at a resort called Spur. This is a reference many might not get if they've only started playing adventure games and visual novels, especially those by Spike Chunsoft recently. Boss is referring to a game developed by Chunsoft before the merger with Spike titled Kamaitachi no Yoru, or released over in the West as Banshee's Last Cry. This was a visual novel that only released worldwide by now defunct mobile version on iOS, but the original Japanese release came out on the Super Famicom all the way back in 1994, and then saw a re-release on the PlayStation 1, Game Boy Advance, web browsers, Android, iOS, PlayStation Vita, and a Windows version as late as 2018. Safe to say that this game was well received overseas, and Spike Chunsoft sure loves to poke attention to it. I played it myself and think it's very good, so if you have a device old enough to can run the iOS version, definitely check it out. Anyway, back to the conversation with Boss. Date reveals that Mizuki is mute over the trauma of seeing who we now know as her mother's death up close and personal. It's also revealed that Renju could not be reached during the time of the murder, and since then, frustrated over the situation and over not being able to place an identity on a caller that alerted them in the first place, Aiba pops out of Date's eye socket and reveals that she's discovered who exactly made the call. It goes back to Ota Matsushita. Well, seems he's coming headfirst into the fray. Date rejoins with Aiba, and the two head off to go question Ota at his family's diner. At the Matsushita family diner, Date finds not Ota, but instead his mother, Mayumi Matsushita. She's an excitable woman who obviously cares very deeply for her son, but it's also easy to see she doesn't approve of his lifestyle choices.
What was it? I'm sorry, my memory's been so spotty lately. Because there's a goddess there.
What?
Ota says it all the time. A goddess. More like a witch, if you ask me.
A witch, huh?
Yes! A witch put a spell on my poor Ota. Makes him spend all his money on her. You see that box over there?
The one on the table?
Yes. Just look. You'll see what I mean.
Even so, she still thinks very fondly of him, even mentioning to Date how much she cares for a Mother's Day gift he gave her a few years back, a knife with a floral pattern. He uses some context clues of a figure Ota ordered from Ezamon.com to figure out he's probably hanging out around Lemniscate Talent Agency's office. Mayumi reveals that he's over there because some goddess is there, meaning Iris. She believes Iris forces Ota to spend his money on her, such as with the figure he's got ordered. Date and Aiba head out toward Lemniscate.
That's him?
Correct.
Date finds him in the lobby waiting for Iris to finish recording a podcast. He immediately acts standoffish to Date, refusing to answer any of his questions, claiming he's to be too busy. Date gets the urge to punch him, but Aiba holds him back, claiming she has an idea. She looks into his computer and discovers Ota is on Twitter. More than once, though, he's sock puppeting for Iris, meaning he's logged into 3 alternative accounts bashing Iris, and then defending her from his own, bashing some main account. What's interesting to note, how satisfied this is exactly what he's actually saying here in defending Iris. Take a look. Show's doing great, riding that high. That makeup is honestly disgusting, lol. Ignore that, Tessa. Probably just some fugly girl who's mad jealous of you. I respect her dancing, but her singing... Get your ears checked. Yeah, she's so good, that's why she's doing backup vocals on TV, lol. She'd be nothing without Lemniscate. You think you understand the entertainment industry? Even backing vocalists need incredible talent. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's pathetic. Fugly, lol. What time period are you even from, lol? I don't want to hear that from a fugly and unwanted woman like you. Yeah, I'll get my ears checked. I think ASET made them bleed. Your ears are bleeding because ASET's heavenly vocals obliterate mindless zombies like you. You're pathetic, dude. Stop white knighting this chick. I will protect her from scum like you until I die. I promised I would. Yeah, okay, I'm unwanted. That's why I've had 5 boyfriends and you're a virgin, lol. Lol, really? That's your comeback? I'm not a virgin, dumbass. You seriously think ASET can sing? Like, seriously? Of course I do. Just watch. She'll be winning Grammys soon. This guy's hilarious. I'm screenshotting this. Go for it. OMG, I can smell your virginity from here, dude. I've had sex 1,000,000 times by now. Have you heard the new song? Invincible Rainbow Arrow? Of course I have. It blew my mind. Why do you even like her so much? She's cute, nice, funny, amazing at singing and dancing. And just watching her, just having her be there, heals me. I call bullshit. I was kidding. I am a virgin, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I would only want to have sex with someone I was completely in love with. So, was your mind blown, or just melted like mine, zombie boy? The only thing that's undying about me is my respect for ASET. She was late to that radio show. She's totally unprofessional. You didn't hear? She was late because she was escorting an old woman to the police station. OMG, you're in love with ASET, lol! Someone report this guy before he does some psycho shit. No! I would never even think about ASET like that. She's a goddess to me. She is sacred. Gross, dude. Listen to Invincible Rainbow Arrow again. You'll love it, I promise. Really? How do you know? I know everything about Tessa. Are you crazy? Punko, I know you're just saying this awful stuff for attention. It's okay. I love you. And Tessa loves you too. No matter how many times I listen to it, it's still the same mediocre song. Did she write the lyrics too? She has no talent. I'm sorry. She wrote those lyrics for a child suffering from a brain tumor. Does that make you see the song in a new light? Really? I had no idea she was so nice. Well now, that's quite an interesting fact we didn't know about before. Invincible Rainbow Arrow was created for a child suffering from a brain tumor. How kind of her. Anyway, we learn after Date uses this incriminating information to essentially blackmail Ota into talking, threatening to tell Iris about his sock puppeting. He hesitantly complies, revealing that Mizuki asked him to go to Bloom Park with her after she received a denial message from someone asking her to go to the carousel. It was there where they found Shoko's dead body, and Ota freaked out, dropped his phone, and ran away. Date, understandably upset, calls Ota out for leaving Mizuki there alone.
Hey, Ota, what are you doing?
Tessa!
And you are?
Mr. Date from the MPD. He came here to ask me about what happened last night.
You mean a detective? Wow! I've never met a real detective before!
But Ota and Iris, who appears on the scene after finishing her podcast, both seem to not know that Shoko Nadami was Mizuki's mother. Iris introduces herself to Date and explains that she learned about the murder scene from Ota. After learning some information, but not enough for his liking, Date begins to leave the office. But Iris asks to come along and check out the crime scene.
Ota, take a video!
Huh?
Just do it! Mr. Date! Please, Mr. Date! You can't leave me!
What?
I can't imagine life without you!
What are you doing?
Did you get it?
Oh, yeah. No, not at all. I'm just imagining your body sinking into Tokyo Bay.
I'm used to sinking. Part of the job.
Huh?
Mr. Date, you are a member of the MPD, aren't you? A public servant? I wonder, what would happen if this little video happened to go viral?
You wouldn't.
Oh, and just so you know, taking my phone away won't help. It's already in the cloud.
You little...
On the car ride to the crime scene, Date asks Asad more about herself. He learns that she got picked up by Lemniscate thanks to her mother's friendship with Renju Okiura. She in turn asks him more about his department of work, a topic he's hesitant to reveal to us to anyone, but she hangs the video she took over him once again. She reminds her that such a video would cause a scandal for her as an idol too, but she insists that it's more than fine because she's going to die soon anyway. She brushes this comment off as a joke, and then reveals her real name to Date, Iris Sagan. Hearing this name, a memory flashes across his mind of a younger Iris playing Ratty Cake. Confused at why it's shown up, he's silent for the rest of the ride. When they arrive at Bloom Park, Date and Iris reinvestigate the crime scene. Date is interested in the fact that there is no blood on the horse that Shoko was tied to. He plays back video footage of the previous night through Aiba to confirm such was the case then as well. This would imply that Shoko's body was killed at some other location and then brought to Bloom Park.
The horses. Horse? Sounds kind of like Horus, right?
What are you talking about?
You don't know Horus? Horus is the Egyptian god of the sky and sun. The right eye is the eye of Ra, and that's the sun. The left eye is the eye of Wajet, and that one is the moon. It's the same idea behind the eye of Providence.
The Eye of Providence?
The all-seeing eye.
Oh, I see. Just like what's on the back of a $1 bill.
Yeah, exactly. The Eye of Providence is supposed to be the symbol of Freemasonry in the... Starting to see the picture?
Not really.
Date is unsure, but then Iris follows it up by saying that Ota saw the ice pick stabbed in Shoko's eye, meaning that if what he saw was accurate, Mizuki had the ice pick in her hands because she was the one to remove it from the socket. Date explains that the park itself is an odd choice to bring anyone, much less a corpse to, as the park is within the abandoned Kawasaki district, which was closed down 8 years prior due to a chemical plant explosion. Now, there's a bit of a mistake here on the part of the ARG. We did learn about this chemical plant explosion way back in Asad's video telling scary stories in the abandoned amusement park. But in that video, it was listed as being closed down 6 years prior. This seems to be a mistake on the part of the promotional team for the ARG. Unless this distinction comes into play as an important topic, I'm just going to form this point run with the date used in the game, so 8 years ago it'll be. Anyway, the two figure that they've learned all they can from the scene of the crime, and Date decides to drop Iris off back at her place. Before heading to the car, Iris feels faint, and Date offers to give her a piggyback ride out of the park. Iris makes a joke about how much she weighs, and Aiba calculates that she weighs 105 pounds. On the ride home, Date asks how she's feeling, and she makes a joke about throwing up in the car, and he scolds her for sticking her hand out the window. At this point, Iris makes mention that she feels like she's met Date before. As they arrive at the Saga residence, a few things become apparent at once. Date recognizes the house as the one from his Somnium, and even more importantly, her mother, Hitomi, that answers the door, is the woman who was lying on the floor in the pool of blood. This causes Date to forego refusing Iris' offer to come inside. He learns that Hitomi and Iris have been living in the same house, and works as a school teacher, and has known Renju for the last 20 years, since high school. Although she was only barely familiar with Shoko, only seeing her a few times. Date also figures out that Hitomi must have been really young when she had Iris, if she was 37 now, meaning that she must have been around 19, but she says she's never been married, a topic that's sensitive for the both of them, as is Hitomi's right arm, which Date notices seems to lock up on her. After he says his goodbyes, Date heads back to Abyss headquarters. He and Aiba agree that finding out who sent Mizuki that message on Nile that Ota mentioned is their top priority. Aiba says she's going to attempt to hack into Mizuki's phone to find out, but it'll take some time due to Nile's security protocols. Once they arrive at Abyss, Date finds that Boss brought Mizuki along from the hospital and suggests that Date sync with her in order to find out what she had seen and cure her mute condition, aphonia. Date is hesitant, but does accept in order to help out Mizuki. Here we're introduced to Pewter, real name Futa Amanoma.
The official title is AI Ball. You may call her Aiba. The artificial intelligence contained within this sphere is nothing short of miraculous. An autonomous artificial intelligence birthed from collective nanotechnology. Its ability to think is controlled by a program we call the Wadjet system. Special Agent Date, from today forward, this is your partner. She will be your personal computer and your personal companion.
Also, Wadjet system was also used in the very first reveal trailer alongside all those very terms from way back when. Boss tells Date that Renju was currently answering some questions, but it was strange that he never even showed up to Mizuki's hospital room once. This confuses Date, but the reality of Mizuki's situation causes him to not be wholly surprised. The truth of it is, even though Renju and Shoko are Mizuki's parents, Mizuki's actually been living at Date's apartment for an undisclosed period of time yet, as a roommate, and we're going to come back around to this later. Before Date hooks up with the sync machine, he reassures Mizuki that everything will be fine, that once he's finished, it'll be like nothing ever happened, and that they'll go out to eat afterward. As Date begins to sync, Aiba introduces Date to a new feature Peter added to the sync system, the ability to slow time down while Aiba is standing still. This is useful because it is dangerous to stay in someone's Somnium for longer than 6 minutes. The effects are unknown and could be fatal to both parties.
You have only 6 minutes in the Somnium world.
Date realizes Mizuki's Somnium is Bloom Park, which is unsurprising considering she's found her mother corpse there. Aiba first investigates a portrait of Shoko, with the ice pick sticking out of her left eye, and by yanking it up creates a lightning rod to dispel the storm away from the cage. By having Aiba enter the control room, she comes across the first major choice in this game's branching narrative. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that yet, did I? This game has multiple endings, and various choices will send you down various paths. I'm going to be covering the story in an order that I and many others believe is the best order to learn information in, as some paths do have spoilers for others. I'm going to be minimizing the amount of these spoilers and be going from as close to a beginning to end as is possible. So, first, we're going to be opening the left cage here that has a torn photo underneath. By reassembling the photo, we get an image of a much younger Mizuki on the panda ride with both of her parents, not yet divorced, happily overlooking her. Date remembers this photo as one that Mizuki had torn up and thrown in the trash, although she seemed to regret doing so. He wasn't able to get any answers about the photograph from Mizuki before. Aiba is able to slow down the carousel and finds Mizuki standing in the center. She gives her a hug.
Are you okay?
Date.
Date!
Looks like she can talk again.
She hugs Date and cries out her sorrows. She explains that she ripped up the photo because her time with her parents at Bloom Park was really the only other time that she felt happy, and it weighed on her like a burden now, especially now that it's the site of her mother's murder. Mizuki regains her composure and refuses to tell them who messaged her on Nile, but Date gets an idea of who it is based on her refusal. He takes Mizuki back to Bloom Park and asks some further questions about the blue figure they saw, but Mizuki says she couldn't place who it was. Aiba chimes in, saying that footage of a car belonging to Renju Okiura was spotted by the old subway lines near the park, and that was most likely how the victim was brought to the park, avoiding all security cameras nearby. Date calls Boss to tell her to hold Renju in for questioning, as they've got evidence his vehicle was present, and it's likely that he was the one who sent Mizuki the Nile message, a fact disputed by Mizuki, but only half-heartedly. Boss explains that he's already out of questioning, but they haven't been able to get in contact with him since. In a rush now, Mizuki offers up Sunfish Pocket, the mermaid cafe also owned by Renju. Date floors it on the way, and they both discover the terrible truth.
Can't be. Renju.